Welcome to the Mound City Council meeting. It's Tuesday, February 25th, 6 o'clock. We're in the council chambers. Can we rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we got our agenda. Do we have any amendments?
There are two amendments to the consent agenda there in front of each of you.
Okay.
One is the addition of item 4G, which is a resolution for lawful gambling permit, and the other is an amendment to the consent item number 4C, which is including some information from the contractor who's receiving the variance and public lands permit.
And then we got just the note on the back here. All right, so I got our agenda. Does anybody, or sorry, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
And can I get a second?
Second?
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, the agenda passes. On the consent agenda, again, with the addition of these amendments here, does someone want to go through those and then add the amendments?
I'll do my best.
All right.
So consent agenda items 4A, approve payment of claims. 4B, approve minutes for the February 11th meeting. 4C, approve resolution approving variance and public lands permit for construction landscaping project at 4756 Kildare Road and undeveloped Longford Road, including attached amendment. 4D, approving resolution approving improvement for security reduction for Mount Harbor's second edition. 4E, approve resolution approving permits for 25 Tour de Tonka bike rides on August 2nd, reducing fees for purpose of public gathering. 4F, pay request number 8 and final in the amount of $11,979.66 to Menger Construction for project 23-03. And item 4G, attached amendment for a resolution approving lawful gambling for Allen Alma's Charter Holding Company.
All right, we got our consent agenda. Does anybody want to talk about those or pull any of them? All right, hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Aye.
Councilmember Herrick,
Aye.
Councilmember McEnany.
Aye.
Councilmember Castellano,
Aye.
Mayor Holt.
Aye. All right, if you were here for any of that, it all just passed and it was approved. So you can stay and hang out or leave. In one, yeah, right now. Comments and suggestions from anybody present. Come on up, give us your name and address.
Hi, everyone. Tim Nichols, Lifestyle Communities. I'm in Mound, I'm in Minnetrista at 3752 Woodland Cove Parkway. I'm happy to be here, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff. I'm here to simply say doing business in the city of Mound is a pleasure. It's a pleasure because of the leadership, and that's all attributable to you all. It's a pleasure because of the good work of the city staff, and it's a place that was tough starting, and I'm proud to finish. I don't want to tell you that I don't want to be here anymore. I do. But I will tell you that our company, the people that have invested their money into moving into Artesa Mount Harbor, the welcome that we've got, the support that we've gotten, it was the vision that I had hoped it would be. It was the vision that many of you thought it would be. And it's a reality. And I'm super proud of the relationship. I'm super proud of the trials and tribulations that we made it through as a collective group. And I can tell you that we consider this the what do they say, a commencement when it comes to graduation. And we hope to have an opportunity to work with a fine city, fine staff, fine leadership, again, in the city of Mound in the future. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, does anybody else want to come up? Comments and suggestions? All right. Oh, you do want to come up? Can you give us your name and address?
Good evening, Michael Salazar, 4756 Kildare Road. I just wanted to get some clarification, I don't know if this is the way to do it or afterwards, in regards to some of the conditions, and see if one of them could be amended, if that's possible.
So we just passed this on the consent. Are you talking about what we just passed?
This is my first time here, so I'm not sure, I'm requesting for the permits. And I just wanted a little clarification with one of the conditions, which says the owner shall be responsible for recording the resolution with Hennepin County unless the applicant requests the city to record the resolution. So I'm not exactly sure what steps I have to take on that.
Jesse?
You want to jump in, Scott?
Oh, Scott.
What I would suggest is for the applicant to contact Sarah
Okay.
Smith. You've been in contact with her.
Right, correct,
And
yeah.
she will be the point person.
Okay,
But typically is that there's a requirement that the resolution of approval needs to be recorded against the property. If it's something that is, that would be like the city to take care of, then Sarah would direct it towards me. So I
Okay.
would contact Sarah.
and one more question, what does recording mean? Does that affect me or the property in a negative way, or?
No,
is-
no, all it said, because it's a positive, you got a variance.
Sure, okay,
Right?
thank you.
The resolution. And all it is it's recording that resolution of approval against the property, meaning it's on your title, so that anybody who would do a title search would know, oh, they have a variance to be here. For
Excellent.
what they're doing. So it's, because you have something, you have a positive approval, you'll want it recorded for future property owners.
Excellent, excellent, thank you. And then lastly, there was, the contractor sent that letter in regards to the few inch difference on the wall.
Yep.
And, they're really saying that it just can't be, to get machines in there, it's gonna really mess up, just to do some adjustment for 4 inches is really unfeasible. So, I mean, since, again, this is my first time here, I'm not,
So,
just
I'll
get
let
some
Jesse
guidance.
speak to this, but we did get your letter.
Yeah.
And that's what we just put in for
Sure.
the consent, so.
Well, the fact of the matter is that it's a building permit issue, so the planning commission and city council can't amend or otherwise create a variance for the building code. So that, I would say, if you want to get in contact with Sarah too, just in tandem with your other correspondence,
Yeah.
she's going to probably just direct you to Safe Build to talk about
Okay.
what the requirement is, and what their flexibility is going to really be up to them, since
Sure.
they're beholden to the building code. But that doesn't affect the variance necessarily, so we added it to the agenda, but that'll be between you and the building inspector.
Understood. So the variance and so both permits were approved today, correct? Or-
Yeah, the variance and the public lands permit.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate your time. God
Yeah,
bless you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to come up? All right, number 6, we got Orono Police Department update, Ryan Spencer. Good evening. Yeah.
Council. So I ran the records or the activity reports for just the last 2 weeks, because, just to see if anything's popping out, but nothing, same as usual, everything is going along, we're just assaults, thefts, quarter violations, DWIs, we're within parameters of what we normally deal with, and nothing's really came out, stood out or anything, so. Other than that, our level 3 POR is now in compliance with Mound City ordinance and has moved out of the area. OPD, our Orono Police Department, are coming up now here in a couple of weeks. Our K-9 is coming into the country. So, well, we expect him this weekend, actually. So the K-9, the animal will be here. Our handler's picking him up hopefully on Sunday from the vendor. And then he will be on his way to training from the middle of March until beginning of June. and hopefully be in service after that and rolling. This is not our apprehension dog. We took a route kind of off the beaten path. This dog is going to be a evidence search dog. It'll be a tracking animal, so like if we have a missing vulnerable adult, a child, this dog can do that activity, and we will not be using him as a apprehension dog for criminals or anything in that nature. 3 Points Boulevard received our complaint of some speeding on that road.
Yep.
I was just advised today by Josh, our CSO, he put up a speed trailer by Seahorse Condos. That is collecting data westbound. If you guys would like, he said he could put up a speed sign facing eastbound to collect that information. It's up to you guys, but right now, again, these trailers are not for enforcing law. It's just collecting data and telling us what we see, because
Right.
sometimes what you see is what it is. Like, you got to be able to judge speed, and sometimes speeds are anywhere, they look fast, but they're not. Sometimes you have to really get a reliable radar out there to see them and stuff. This weekend, so we have a traffic safety car. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's our unmarked, it blends in. It's a white Mazda, and it's.
Now everybody knows.
And we do have to. It's an education car, and it was granted to us by the state. It's set up, for that, to catch things that people don't know around the area.
Yeah.
It did quite a bit of work this weekend. We got about 24 hours worth of work out of it. DWIs, narcotics, just standard traffic stuff, but it is doing its job, and it seems to be doing it. And now also part of it is education, so there's a lot of talking with the people as we have contact with them.
I have a question on that. So you said it's called a speed car?
No, it's called a traffic enforcement education car. So it's kind of a Minnesota grant that we got to buy a off the beaten path car and outfit it for these purposes. So, and then OPD is our Orono Police Department's application process for a new police officer closes on Friday. So we will then begin the process of interviewing and going through that process again. So, and then also, on Thursday, we're going to be down in Mankato at the university to recruit for future openings in the Orono Police Department. That's also a training ground for law enforcement officers coming up. We also can take advantage of their intern programs down there, so we could get a summer intern to help us out. So that's about all that's going on in Orono PD. Is there any questions that you have for us? Or?
Does council have any questions?
I do, Sergeant. Speaking to the new canine you're getting, how many canines do you have on the force?
We have none.
Oh,
This
is
is
that what
actually
we have?
ground.
So this is your first?
Yep, this is actually ground level. I mean, this is new to us. Mound had one back in the day, Reagan, and he was an apprehension dog, great dog. He retired, but this one, because of the landscape of law enforcement, we decided to go with the alternative and just narcotics, tracking, evidence collection, stuff like that. So if it doesn't say that in the future we can't bring in apprehension, but for now, just because we want to start here, this is where we're going to go. So.
And does that dog have one officer that he works with?
Yep, one handler. It's the handler's. It's not his. It's the city of Orono. He's basically a police officer, and he's registered as a police officer, but he stays and lives and everything with that one officer. So
Thanks.
hopefully it'll turn out good.
Yeah.
We'd really like to see that.
So will he be out visiting areas of the community, like the schools and that kind of stuff, once he gets trained?
Yep, it's going to probably be a little while because
Sure.
there's a lot of indoctrination with this dog. The handler alone, I can't remember what he told me, but he's already been doing homework, like prepping home, learning his behaviors and stuff that he's got to establish with that dog when it comes home. He's got to be the dominant person in this relationship, so.
What breed is he? She, he?
It's gonna be a he. We're not 100% sure. It can be anywhere from a Mal to a German to a Dutch German. We're not sure. It's the handler got evaluated a while back, and I believe the vendor goes out and kind of does a mesh with it. They figures out what animal is gonna work good with this type of personality and stuff, so there's a lot to it.
Very
It's
interesting.
not- so,
Congrats then,
yeah, we're excited.
good first pup.
So on the 3 points situation, so, I got the email that there's some, speeding and, it's, right by your house, really. I think if you have an extra trailer, we should put one going the other way.
Okay.
You said it was like a sign.
Yeah, we got a sign, it's a little more low profile.
Oh,
But it
that's fine.
collects data. It
Is
just
it like
stays-
the sign with the little panel?
Yep, just like you see out here on Commerce by the school. I don't know if it's, yeah, I think it's still up there, but it's been a permanent fixture.
Flashes?
Yeah, it flashes, but it also, there's just down the way there, I don't know if a lot of people see it, but there is a sign, and if it's charged, you'll see the blinking speeds coming up.
As
there.
you go too fast?
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we can put that out, and then, can you just make a little bit more attempt to drive over there too?
absolutely,
And
yeah.
just hang out a little bit, do the rounds, but,
Yep, no, the guys do pretty good about spreading that area out, cause
Yeah.
it's on a peninsula, so we have to get out there.
Yeah.
It's just one thing that was in our minds probably is to record and document what we're seeing of speed wise, cause I know in the past, and the problems have always been the four-way stop sign at Gull and 3
Yep.
Points, and that's, we focus on those more often, so we will make sure we're documenting, seeing what we see out there, and making sure we curb any problems come.
the resident that complained about that was just north of there, a few blocks.
Yep,
So that's kind of the area, I think, what she's referring to.
Okay.
So,
It's from
Yeah.
like Gull, like where that four-way stop is.
Yep.
Like to Seahorse.
yeah,
It's
that,
kinda
that's
like
the spot where
in
everybody
my
goes.
house, it's just like straight and flat and
Yeah.
goes down. And I don't know why, but it does usually seem to be like westbound, like people leaving 3 Points. Like, I don't know, for whatever reason it is, I always hear them gunning it like on the way out of 3 Points.
yeah, I think it's a
Usually
curve.
coming in.
Yeah, the curve kind of gives them a little boost too, and,
Well, and the problem is having the trailer right on the curve.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get the curve, you're already slowed down.
yeah,
So if you moved it more to the straightaway a little bit,
okay.
you move it down east a little bit,
East,
as
okay.
you're going west.
I'll go out and take a look where he's got it, because he just explained that he put it right near the
Seahorse.
seahorses. So
Yeah,
you
and
want
that's-
it further down.
I think that's what we did last time, and we didn't get a lot of data saying that anybody was speeding.
Okay,
Well, the problem is, by the time you get there, you gotta slow down, because you gotta do the turn.
turn the curve.
So I think if you put it maybe a block or two up to
Okay.
the east, I think that would really help
All right, yeah,
getting
we,
maybe better data, if it's true that people are speeding all the time. If anybody's down there, 30 miles an hour is pretty fast.
yeah, oh, yeah.
You
it
know,
is, yeah.
it's really
Like
hard.
Avocet even, like.
Avocet?
Avocet, that's where it's like it's straight and then it goes down before it curves, and that's where they always like.
Go, yeah.
So I'd say at least that trailer over there, and then if you can, if you have time to do the other
Yeah,
one,
we'll put
just
up-
in case
yeah.
it's happening the other way.
We'll look at, I'm guessing the sign is gonna be the best, form of data collection, and we could just spread them out and get as much data as we possibly can
Okay.
off of it, to see where we need to focus, if at all, so.
Okay. One last thing, I was at Caribou this morning for a meeting, and I saw Officer Schultz there, and she just knows everybody in the
Oh, yeah.
whole community. so.
Yeah, she's our social, officer, she'll,
Yeah.
she knows everybody, talks to everybody, so, yeah,
Yeah.
she does, she belongs in the schools for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's just good to see her and
Yes,
seeing that, she knows everybody. So.
yeah.
All right, thanks, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next up, we got Hennepin County Embedded Social Worker Program update. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Jen Withrow. I'm the police embedded social worker. I work in Orono and then 6 other departments. So just, I don't know if I gave numbers last time that I was here, but just some of the overall numbers from the 7 departments. So in 2023, I had 545 referrals. In 2024, it was 561. And out of those, for 2023, 109 were from the Orono Police Department, and then 130 in 2024. So that's kind of a overarching theme of what the numbers look like. I was just telling Nicole, who is here from Hennepin County as well, supporting me, that this week I had 15 people that I've reached out to just in the last 2 days.
Right.
So just, high numbers of people that I interact with throughout the 7 departments here. And then I work with people that have, challenging behaviors down to things that are not as challenging. But I would say one thing that's kind of come up a lot recently is elderly and falls, and people just not doing as well in their homes anymore. The population's getting older, and so are some of their struggles are becoming more prominent and severe. And so it's working with those folks, a lot of whom which want to live independently as long as possible. So I try to provide resources to them to keep them in their homes safely as long as it's possible.
Well, thanks for coming out. We talked earlier about the homeless issue, right? Because I think last year we had 6 people kind of in the general area of, I know some were in Spring Park and then some were here, but can you just give us like an update on kind of what that looks like now?
Well, I know that for sure one person that I worked with has gotten a home, was able to find some place to live and has been living there for several months now. So
Good.
that went well. When I have homeless people, sometimes they need longer term assistance. So getting them into like a transitional care facility, and that route they end up in the hospital, and then sometimes that placement gets made through the hospital. But working with officers to try to talk about when is a good time to get them to the hospital is maybe something that they're not always aware of, or what kind of things, to look for. And I really stress their functioning level. What can they do or what can't they do by themselves anymore? If somebody's homeless and can't get to the food shelf anymore, they can't make their way there, that's a problem because they need to be able to get access to food. That might be a situation where that person needs to get to a hospital and get evaluated. So just talking maybe about some of those things in general. When is a good time to get the person to the hospital, and how to, build up to that is important too. I can, try to get them to go as well, but sometimes it comes better from an officer, just depending on the person. Sometimes they like my approach and being in plain clothes and things like that.
Right. Do you notice a lot are like living out of the car kind of thing, or like actually like no home, no car,
Not so much in Mound per se, but in some of the other areas that I work in, other cities,
Okay.
That's a bigger issue than I think people realize. People with animals that are in their cars, and sometimes kids, and so
Yeah.
those are the ones that are pull at your heartstrings, and you just want to get them some shelter and find them
Right.
some place to go.
Good. Does council have any other questions?
Well, I just have a question. You said one of the homeless individuals found housing, but you didn't mention, do we have any other homeless right now that you're aware of in Mound?
Not that have been brought to my attention. I know that there are people on the verge of homelessness, people that are in their homes right now that are struggling to pay rent, that are behind on rent, that the eviction process might be moving forward. And so those are possible homeless individuals if the situation doesn't improve.
Thank you.
But no, I've not been made aware of any new homeless people that I have not had contact with recently.
Good, thank you.
Like we talked about before, I mean, like last year, I think we had 6-ish in the area. And like, we're talking in the middle of winter in a tent behind a liquor store, right? Not our liquor store, but Spring Park. And so I'm glad that's better, right?
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, good job
Thank you.
helping out.
Yeah.
So, any other comments or suggestions or?
Well, no, I mean, I I found a good resource. We Can has hired a housing navigator. And so that's a role that's new for them. I think that person's on a grant right now and really working on trying to learn about the homeless issue in this area. And if I get a referral, then I work with that person as well, if the person is open to that. So then I can kind of get them connected with her so she can help on her end and use her resources and skills. Weekend does a lot of that kind of stuff with job training and, you know, if somebody needs a job to help them, you know, with resume skills or job coaching, whatever that they need to move forward to get a job is one step that's important. But also, you know, the other programs that they have there to help. There's a Hennepin County employee who can help people get SNAP, food benefits, health care, general assistance, those type of financial programs. So that's also an important role that I can connect people to when I hear about those type of situations.
So in our police commission meeting, you know, we know your job is important and we want to keep making sure that you get funded, and that's, I think we're going to talk about that again in the next month here. But also with the Commissioner Edelson, we've talked about you with her as well, and just to make sure that there's still, you know, county funding as well as, you know, through what we can afford to with Orono Police. So thank you, and there should be 2 or 3 of you, I guess, probably, really, with all the work you got, but.
Yeah, and a nice thing, some of the counties I just learned today are expanding the co-responders, the social workers who can actually go out with the police officers in real time and kind of help out on those situations. Or, you know, it's a team that just goes and does it independently instead of using a police officer, depending on the cities and what the program, you know,
Yeah.
constraints are. But it's just expanding, it's growing, and it's a popular way to especially help people with mental health issues to not have to interact with the police, because, you know, sometimes that's traumatic, and people with mental health, substance abuse are at a higher propensity of dealing with trauma in their lives already, and so sometimes that can just kind of add to trauma and a trauma response. So it's good to send out mental health professionals, and I think it's good for the police officers too, so that they can actually work on, you know, crimes and things like that, so.
All right. Good. Well, does council have any other questions or comments? Or?
No.
Well, thank you again for coming, and
Yeah,
thanks for
thank
your
you
work.
both.
Yeah,
Yeah, thank you too.
thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. All right, number 8, we got a award bid to Widemer Construction for water treatment infrastructure improvements, phase 1. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the council. Matt Bauman, City Engineer. Appreciate being here. So on February 5th, we had the bid for the Phase 1 portion of the water treatment infrastructure improvements. That was actually the first project I think our office bid, so we were early to the game on this one, and we need to be, because this portion of the project, it needs to get done before the county wants to come in and mill and overlay Highway 15 there. So we had 8 bidders, with the low being Widmer Construction with $715,000, just under $800. It was 25% below our engineer's estimate of $950,000, and 90% below the high bid. So it was a very good number. We definitely recommend approving the bid. And Widmer has completed 2 similar projects over to the west on Linwood over there.
Good.
So they're definitely qualified for the work. So you have a recommendation for approving the bid to Widmer Construction on the next page there.
Good.
Any other questions?
Great news, thank you. Does that council have any questions? All right.
Well, this is a competitive bid, right?
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
look at the bid.
It's just quite a bit lower than the other ones. Is there any possibility that we have any discrepancy in what they were bidding on? Apples to apples kind of thing?
Everybody's looking at the same
Okay.
stuff, and so we
Okay.
made sure with them that they had everything included that's necessary.
Perfect, thank you.
Matt, maybe you can correct me too, but like, I kind of learned like over the last couple of years, like some of the bids vary so much. Like if one company specializes in something, they're having to like rent or purchase equipment is all included in that, right?
Right, everything to get the project done is all included in that
Yeah.
number, and so there's certain companies have different advantages and.
Or different focuses?
Yep, and then it depends too, and kind of how much work they have, how hungry they are.
Yeah,
Just all of those factors, so.
but that's a lot of bids.
8 bids is a lot of bids.
Right, that's,
Yeah.
we appreciate that here. We don't necessarily always get that, so.
No, yeah, good. Well, that's good, good news.
Mhm.
Any other questions? All right, we got a resolution on my page 530. Or you can read the screen if someone wants to make a motion.
Can do that. I would like to make a motion for a resolution accepting bid for water treatment infrastructure Phase 1, project PW 2512.
All right, got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, that passes. All right, next up, we got number 9, authorized bid for water treatment infrastructure improvements, Phase 2.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor, members of the council.
Yeah.
So we are ready for getting ready to bid the next step of this overall package, and this is gonna be the biggest bid piece that, of that $10.3 million that we got granted. So the overall budget for this portion is about 4.9 million, our engineer's estimate. There's two parts to it, so our engineer's estimate is just 4,750,000, and we included an alternate in there, so it's 5,135,000, and the alternate is to basically consider adding a battery backup to your sump pump. It's just, there's 2 pipes in a section I'll show you on the next sheet, or on the next page with the map, that gives us a little bit of redundancy in the overall system. So keep going down a little, Jesse, if you could. Or go out there. There you go. So down here in this portion of, it's Bartlett Boulevard down there, actually. So
Go
there's
down a little lower.
Yeah, a little more.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, so there's actually 2 pipes in there now, and we would recommend replacing both of them, upsizing the one so we have full capacity, and the other one kind of as a backup pipe while we've got it all, while we're working in the area. So, but we'll bid that as an alternate, and then we'll get the numbers in and come to you guys with a recommendation for what we should go forward with there. Yeah, and why don't we stay here for a second? I'll just talk to you. So we've got this split up into 4 stages, and it's going to be kind of a project for the town.
Right.
So stage 1
I think you
is-
wanted to use a different word.
Yeah. Stage 1 is up here. That's the area we need to get done first, because the county is going to mill and overlay 110 as well, coming down here to the limit there. So we want to get in there quickly. The rest of it is kind of, it's a little more open. Down here, again, on Bartlett, we want to work around Spirit of the Lake, so there's some constraints there, and then the rest of it will kind of work in there as necessary with the contractor. And then I'll just note that right now our plan is we're going to close this completely for 4 or 5 weeks to do that. The rest of this, we're going to try to set it up so it's a one-way only southbound, so that everybody, all the residents and the businesses are still have some kind of access. It's just going to be a little bit different for the while that we're in there.
In the 4 weeks, when is that gonna happen?
That is, they either need to be done by Spirit of the Lakes or they start
Right after,
Spirit of the
okay.
Lake. So that'll kind of depend on the bidder and their schedule.
And we're gonna reroute on like West Edge then? Most likely?
There'll be a local one, but we're gonna encourage them to use the county roads. So I'm pointing to nothing out there. But we'll encourage them to go 110 out to, is it 92, and then back up on 15 for
Yeah.
most of the traffic, but the locals will find West Edge.
Yeah. Oh, you're trying to go home all the way out.
For the county traffic, correct.
Okay, well,
That's a big.
They'll find their own
They'll
ways
find their
around.
own way
Yeah,
into
they'll
West
find their
Edge.
own ways. Yep.
That's what we'll
There's
suggest.
several stages. There's gonna be, detours off to the right here too, coming up 125 in Wilshire.
and there's no other way to do this but closing it for a month.
While we're doing the majority of it trenchlessly, so it's gonna be pipe bursting where we can, and then directionally drilling where we need to, and then open cutting where we absolutely have to. So we're trying to keep the disturbances down, but there's just a lot, kind of going on in the area, and a lot of stuff we're working around. So, but yeah, this is really the only way
Okay.
to do it.
So you're saying we had a brief time with no road construction
Yeah.
going on Bartlett?
And when we're done, we really shouldn't be touching those for a while, so
that's
let's-
great.
we'll stay out of there.
So with that purple area, well, I guess all of it, again, most of it's gonna be trenchless, but where's the part that's, you're gonna rip up some roads?
Well, so particularly like the crossings, we're gonna need to fully reconstruct the intersections to get across there, and so that's kind of the main thing. We don't want traffic going through both ways,
Right.
under gravel patches and stuff, it just becomes a big issue. But this is gonna be largely trenchless. Garden here is gonna be open cut, and this block here on Beechwood is gonna be open cut. The
Open
rest
cut
of-
meaning you're tearing the road open?
Tearing the road open, and we're doing half the road, so we'll leave
Oh,
this.
so one
we'll
left
leave-
side will be open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be spots here and there where we have to dig up more, just because of things we're working around and corners and bends and stuff like that, so.
And that
It's,
whole
it's kind of a
Beechwood-
mix everywhere, honestly.
The Beechwood, does that go right down the little path? Or is
It-
that kind of through the woods there or something?
Yeah, so the main itself is generally on the south side of the road, and goes
Oh, okay.
through there, kinda going up the hill, or
Yeah.
down the hill, yep,
Down the hill, okay.
depending on, which way you're looking.
All right. Well, we have to do it. so.
Yes, we have to,
Yeah.
in order to make everything function, when it's all done, this is one of the critical pieces here.
All right, does council have any other questions?
Yes, we're gonna have a serious traffic problem again on West Edge.
Yep.
And I can tell you for a fact, as a resident of West Edge, the neighbors are not happy with that flow when it gets out of control and we're very inundated with cars.
Where
I
do you want
know
them to
there's a
go?
group that wants to lower the speed limit on West Edge. Is that a possibility, Jesse, or what do we need to do to find out about that?
You talking about just on your turn?
In general, no, in the entire strip of West Edge.
So we talked about that, was that you, or was that your counterpart?
I've been in the background of some conversations. I
Yeah.
don't know that I've had specific conversations with you guys, but yeah,
Okay, so.
Kinda
no,
know
we-
what-
So you're taking temporarily while this is going on?
I
Are you
would
talking
like to see
about-
it permanent, but, I mean, since we've repaved that road,
Yeah.
it has become a racetrack. I mean, it's insane that, and the big heavy trucks that are coming down there,
Yeah.
they come down that hill, and it's a good thing that their brakes have worked, let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Well, 'cause
surprised,
We put that slower part right by the curve.
that we put a sign there, but that doesn't mean it slows
Well,
down.
you can only do so much, right?
I understand, that's what I'm saying, but I'm hearing requests, can we lower the speed limit? So I don't know what that entails, or,
I mean, don't we have guidelines that you can only do so much with
There-
speed limits?
Yeah, there are options to lower it now. The state used to kind of set that limit, and now they've changed it. I've sat in on some presentations. Other cities have lowered speed limits. And the interesting one that they studied, before and after, and there was only what did I say it was, a 1% or 1 mile an hour change in the actual change of the speed limit of people traveling. So it says 30, it says 30, they lowered it to 20. If people are going 35, they're going 34 now. So there's not, it doesn't necessarily help that much just to lower it. A lot of the factors of getting people to go slower is, more people, more restrictive looking roads. That's generally what helps there. We could, especially if we're gonna be sending extra traffic there, we can certainly put in temporary signs that says, slower, reduce speed, stuff like that.
because we've got a
And
lot of
like I
young
said,
children and
we
people
don't want to
walking.
encourage
It's
that
a-
to be the detour, but the people are
Yeah,
gonna,
no, I
they're gonna
understand
do
that.
it.
Well, I think it would help. I mean, a lot of times it's just the heavy traffic. We've got big industrial type carriers of stone and gravel, especially once we lift the road restrictions. It's not so bad right now. But people use that road, to walk. We've got school buses that are dropping kids off on the hill, which I don't understand, but that's not my thing. Anyway, there's just a lot of complaints, and so I know there's a group of people that want to know, what do we have to do, or how do we get this done? So that might be more a long-term solution, but also definitely during this traffic interruption.
I mean, we can for sure do temporary, right?
Yeah, once with road construction stuff, the rules kind of change. It's a little more open, that we can do stuff like that. Permanent, we should look into it more, potentially do a study if that's something that you guys really want us to look into.
And if we do the test, I mean, we can basically do a test run during the construction period to see what impact it does have.
Well, it's gonna be a nightmare for a month.
Well,
no
I
matter
think that's
what.
just it. People will cut through there if they think they can go 30 miles an hour, which is the current speed limit. But we lower it to 20 and we enforce it, that should deter some of that traffic. Because they're gonna go further up and go.
I mean, yeah.
I remember what you're talking about of when we looked into it in the past, it was for, it's like 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, it was like on 3 points. We had talked about doing a study to stripe it, and it was like, maybe Brian was talking to me more about that, because I had asked about it, but it didn't seem like it was gonna be a good fit for like a permanent solution. I remember we talked about like speed humps and
Yeah, yep.
shotgun, or slingshot accelerating, and
Yeah, and basically,
that
if you
you
put in
accidentally
intermediate
create.
things, then they slow down, they get over it, and then they want to catch up with.
yeah,
with
or
what
like
their-
adding,
their plan time was.
stop signs, it
Yep.
was like, it actually creates more of a problem, but there's gotta be probably some good, like, construction time temporary solutions, I don't know what, but,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but plans are final, but we can still make tweaks to it. We still have to submit to the county to get their approval on all of it, so
Okay.
take that into
I won't
consideration.
cut through, I promise.
You won't even be anywhere in the area.
I might have to be.
I don't think you're speeding through West Edge, by the way.
I promise.
Anyway.
So those new signs that we put up, they haven't done anything?
No, and I mean, the patrols, we could ask them to come out again, and I guess that would take a couple complaints, but when they did come out and sit, they were sitting over there at the water treatment plant. Well, that's not where they're speeding. It's more in the main thoroughfare from Bartlett down the hill. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, we could post them up on the hill, and,
that might help.
well, next time you're
I'll ask
gonna
him.
go to the police commission
Yeah.
next week or 2 weeks? We could talk to them there.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we could have Jesse request that, to say, have them sit up there. And again, we can put the machine there too, and see if if people are actually going over 30, just like because 30 seems like it's 30.
but when you're
but it's
sitting,
not-
when you're walking, it's very quick. I mean, it goes
Right,
really
but that's
fast, so.
the road.
I think it's just that the street has lost its neighborhood feel. It's not it's a cut through now. It's not and people are avoiding downtown, they come through there.
Right.
I just hear there's a lot of heavy traffic, and a lot of it's not going the correct speed. To your point,
Yeah.
you need to measure that. Anyway,
Well, do you want to request after they're done with 3 points to throw them over on the top of the hill right before
so it'd be
Right
right
before
there
it goes
between
down.
Beechwood and,
kind
it's
of?
right there at that stop
What's that
sign.
other,
right in that area.
what are the other road right before?
Pine Bend?
It's the one with
On the
Circle
other
Park
side?
on it.
That's not on this, is it?
I don't know off the top.
It's
of
one
my head.
block
I
north
need
of
a map,
Beechwood,
yeah.
right before the hill goes down.
I'm just laughing because I drive by there and I
Okay.
don't pay attention.
So we've just
Anyway.
got a busy few years of road stuff.
There's effort.
Not,
The main
Evergreen.
ones, yeah, then there's
Yeah.
other ones coming. Yep.
Well, if we can get some data, and you said it's usually going down the hill, not up the hill? Because up the hill, I mean, it's harder to go that fast.
Well, a lot of the bigger trucks are accelerating, obviously, to get up the hill, so
Well,
it sounds bad.
But they're
yeah,
not
I don't
going
know.
30 miles up the hill.
Yeah, no, it's more them going down the hill.
Okay.
Is where the
Can
problem
we-
is. So like Deerwood, there's Deerwood, Beechwood, and then Evergreen. So it's probably there between Beechwood and Deerwood is where
Yeah.
they're cresting speed right there at the top of the hill, and then they're flying down the hill.
Okay.
So,
So
I mean, they can put it in my
have
front
them-
yard if they want, I don't care. I mean,
Would you want it on the bottom of the hill or
Well-
the top before they get fast?
We might want to, since they have two, maybe we need to put one at the top and one
Okay.
at the bottom. I don't know, I mean,
Right.
I'm not sitting out there monitoring traffic, but.
Well, it'd be nice to
I'm
get
just hearing the
that-
You just get
complaints.
the complaint.
It'd be nice to get that data too, though, before we do this close. And then
Well, yeah.
again, 30 seems like, but on those small roads, I mean, it's
But
hard to
that's-
go 35, 40.
Well,
You get a few of them
not
that
on
do.
West Edge, but yeah, I agree
I'm just saying the
with you.
data that we got last time on 3 points, like, there was not a lot of
Not,
speeding.
right.
I mean, it was very, very low. So although we get these, now if you're walking on the sidewalk, now this one's different, and I walk and run around that all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're right, there's no sidewalk, so it's like you're right up by these cars. And if they're going 20, it feels like they're going 40, But, yeah, well, let's get some data then. I would say we should have some temporary, like, hey, don't speed down this thing, on both sides, or maybe a few spots, as we're shutting this down. Does that work?
I think we should try.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any other thoughts
Yeah.
on this? On the money part? No? All right, does someone want to make a motion?
We're just doing, on 537, right, for bids?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we done? No more discussion on it? Or-
No, I think we're done.
I didn't, but, I would like to make a motion for a resolution receiving plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bid for the water treatment infrastructure project improvements Phase 2.
All right, got a motion, can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right, that passes.
Thank you.
All right, number 10, we got authorized bid for 2025 lift station improvements.
Yes, so we are on the third project here. So in October, we came to you guys with the feasibility, or request to do the feasibility study, and now we're through final plans. We're ready to take them out for bids. Our updated engineer's estimate is $891,000. That's just about 1% higher than our feasibility study estimate. We're actually, that's a pretty good, pretty close estimate there. A little few changes with our plan, but generally the same there. So we are recommending authorization to go for bid. And again, this project includes several phases, so there's pieces that the city is gonna purchase directly, and then we're gonna go for bid for the construction portion, so the piping and the station itself, the city purchases the control panel, the generator, the pumps, and those types of things, just to move things a little bit faster and ensure that we're getting what we want. So, yeah, you have a resolution on the next page, 542, or whatever, what it's been.
542,
Yeah.
All right, does council have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I just want to ask you a question after this. But it's not just
Not the
not
numbers?
just about this.
Okay,
Still counts.
Questions or questions?
Not about this lift station.
okay.
All right. Any other discussion? All right, can I get a motion for this resolution?
I can do that. I make a motion for a resolution receiving plans and specifications and ordering advertisement for bids on the 2025 lift station improvements project.
All right, we got a motion, can I get a second?
Second?
All right, any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question?
Ask now, or you want?
Well, yeah, and it's really broad, but maybe like for, like, big picture for everyone. I mean, people see there's so many lift stations, they're very expensive. Like, what do we, and maybe it's something that like Noah could come back with even later, but as we plan out in a few years, like when all the lift stations have been replaced, is that like a sizable burden lifted from the levy, do you think? Or is there just now other costs that kind of come back from the first one, and it's like, kind of
No,
just
it's,
keeps going
yeah, so
like that?
what we've been doing is, these are very long-term fixes. They should be 50 to 100-year fixes, so it's only gonna be minor improvements. Every 15 to 20 years, they'll have to replace the pumps. The generator should, I don't know exactly how long they last, but the structures themselves, these are large concrete structures, they should last a very long time, and they can be kind of recoated from the inside. The big lift here is that a lot of the old structures are metal, and they're corroding, and so there's really nothing we can do with those. Eventually, they're just gonna fall apart, so concrete is a much more long-term solution, specifically kind of fighting water and what they can do to hold them together longer, later.
Because this has created like a big need in, I mean, our general fund and our capital planning too, so we should be able to cut that down a little bit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there's two more large ones, a rehab, and then I think we should be done.
What's the
Awesome.
expected lifespan of these things?
That-
The new ones?
They should, at least 50 years.
Oh, okay.
I'd expect.
So we can put $1 in the bucket every month and we'll be good.
Yeah.
Save it for next.
Yeah. I
Okay.
like that long-term
All
plan.
right,
All right, any other questions?
No?
Okay,
Thank you.
guys.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, number 11, we got 2025 city council priorities. And just for the public, what we did is we had a workshop, 2 workshops,
3, actually.
3 workshops on this. And I think we have a final list here of kind of what we're looking to, make as a priority for this year. Some of this is just kind of ongoing you know, like stuff from last year kind of thing. And then some of it's, you know, new for this year is, you know, what we're kind of looking at. And our goal is, you know, by the end of the year to, you know, check off a good chunk of this, if not all of it. And then I'm just going to go through again, since this is in the agenda, and if you're watching online or in the minutes, it'll be in the packet. But just for people that are watching this, I'm going to go through each one, and then they're titled 1 through, what, 20 or 19 or something.
18.
So then as we finish, I'm just going to ask the council if they have any questions or want to modify anything as we go through. So number 1 is water funding, and we've listed this kind of A, B, C, D. So number 1A, work with State Representative Myers and Senator Johnson Stewart to get more funding for 2025. The need technically is 26 million. We put a 4 million inflation adjusted booster in there per the state when we applied for it. That's just the calculator that happens in there. B, we're going to work with federal elected reps to get funding. So this is on the federal side, Representative Morrison, Senator Smith, and Senator Klobuchar. And we did submit for 3.1 million on the federal side through the congressionally directed spending appropriation. So, you know, we're crossing our fingers that that comes through. Was it last year, 2 years ago, we got almost $1 million, not quite $1 million. And just on that note, since we're on this, City Manager Jesse Dixon and I, last week, was it, or this week? Last week. We had a meeting with Senator Smith's office, and it was a pretty good meeting. So we got some good advice, and then we, you know, put the issue in front of her, you know, her chief of staff or whoever it was, her staff. So, and C, State of the Water meeting in March. We're going to do that the first council meeting in March, so the second week of March. So if anybody wants to come out for that, we'll have some good updates there. And then D, our goal is to update every newsletter, just so, you know, an update on what we're doing, whether it's just in the, you know, message from the mayor comment section, or if we go a little bit more in depth in the rest of the newsletter on, you know, what we're doing. As you can tell, especially with the, you know, the roads now, and you might want to put that map in the next newsletter, just showing, hey, by the way, we're going to have some disruptions. I've already asked for forgiveness. I think it was the last one or the one before, in the message from the mayor, just saying, hey, be patient, you know, this is something we ought to do. I think once we see that, people see that, they're going to start going, oh, this is actually going to happen, you know, it's real, you know. And then just on water in general, and kind of like, you know, we're counting on Plan A working out, but let's just say Plan A doesn't work out and Plan B. Jesse and I and Noah and Maggie had a meeting about, you know, is there any Plan B funding options? You know, what other options can we do? So we're probably going to save that for after the legislative session, and if we don't get anything. But if we don't, and, you know, what's the Plan B look like if we want to go down that road? And then next Thursday, is it? We're going to City on the Hill Day. So we're going to go down and have a meeting with Representative Myers and Senator Johnson Stewart. And so we got a meeting planned for that. I know the governor's invited to speak to the masses, so I'll see if I can get in there and get a comment in. I know we sent them a letter already as a council. We've requested a meeting with his staff. We've requested a meeting with Klobuchar. We haven't, either I haven't heard back, right? They haven't declined us. And then we reached out to a lot of other legislators, especially people on the committees, capital investment committees. So got a few declines, but anyway, we're gonna bring a Mound's bar, you know, Mound chocolate bar, whatever they are. that nobody likes.
I wouldn't take more than one.
Oh, we're taking 150 of them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so we're gonna take 150 Mound bars, and we're gonna do a quick QR code, and so you can,
I
you know,
love it.
scan it, and then say, you know, hey, Mound doesn't have clean water still, you know, help us out, kind of thing. So we're gonna, Jesse's plan is getting the
That's
backpack,
great.
and then he's gonna hand them out to every single one.
Yeah, I'll probably make sure it's a clear bag or something. I don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to be the guy carrying the backpack into.
So, we're doing our lobbying, and,
That's great.
you know, I put in the last newsletter to, you know, reach out to, again, our representative and our senator. I mean, they're the ones that can help us out, and then, of course, anybody on the committees, so. That's kind of update, again, more on that in the next meeting, in March, first meeting in March. Does anybody else have any other comments or anything to add to that, or?
For one,
Yep.
no, just, C, it's March 11th, right? Like, to be specific.
Is that March 11th?
Yeah.
Okay, so March 11th, if you want to come out and get a water update. If not, you'll see it on YouTube after we do it. So, March 11th, yep. Anything else? Anybody else on number one? It's going to be a long session here. All right, number two, budget. You know, our goal is always to look for, you know, savings, watch spending. Jesse, staff, and council, you know, our goal is always, you know, to be good stewards of, you know, our taxpayers' money. So we just want to make sure that people know that. That's A. B is to stay on the long-term financial plan for 2025. We're on the budget committee, Councilmember Castellano. You know, our goal is that. I mean, obviously things can change, but our goal is to kind of, you know, stay on this long-term plan that gets us looking pretty good by what, 2030-ish?
Is it 2033? Or I don't remember exactly, yeah.
I think we're,
Yeah.
the curve's pretty good by
Yeah, by 2030.
30.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, anyway. So again, more to come on that, specifically at the end of the year, when we're doing all the budget stuff, and, you know, we're talking, what, August or whatever. Obviously, again, the things that happen day to day, Jesse's and staff is gonna make sure we're keeping it tight. Any comments on that, or anything anybody want to add?
It's going really well.
It's going really, there you go. Number three, communication. A, we got our website. Maggie's working on our new website. I know Councilmember McEnany as well. And we're hoping to have that, you know, for sure this year, if not pretty soon. So hopefully, right? Anyway, we know you're working hard on it, so that's going to be a good improvement. B, Facebook and Instagram. So this is 2 years ago now that we added Facebook and Instagram. I think it's been a
It's
phenomenal.
been one.
1 year.
A year from
Only a year,
December.
okay.
Yeah.
And I think, hey, I think it's going well, right? I'm glad we did it.
We're getting new members every day. We're up to about 925.
Nice.
That meet the
And in
staff
July,
thing.
it was 100. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
slowly climbing.
The meet the staff thing was awesome.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
started 3 weeks ago, Maggie, 3 Tuesdays ago.
Yeah, good job on
Yeah.
that. It looks great.
Well, you know, it'll be fun to get the staff into the mix too. You guys thought you had a pass go on that? No.
I got the email out to everybody.
Yeah, thank you, I saw that today.
All right, so Facebook and Instagram is B, and then number one under B is posting weekly creative updates, alerts, facts about Mound. Again, number two is, again, meet the staff Tuesday. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be technically every Tuesday, but, you know, for the most part, Tuesdays, push on Facebook and Instagram. Number three, under B is Explore Minnesota. We are on the website. The goal is to get on the website. I think we are, right? We're done there. I know Councilmember Pugh wants to kind of get a little bit more exposure there. So we're going to work on that. C is newsletter. We've been doing the park feature, so we're going to keep doing that. Basically, that just highlights one of the many parks that we have and just kind of a workup about it. Number 2, just council updates. Number 3, fire, police, and liquor store updates as well. And then, of course, any other, council updates, I guess, is just broad, but, and if you guys want to put anything in there or think that we need to do anything a little different, just please reach out to Maggie and we can make it happen. D, digital newsletter. Again, this will be in concert with the updated news website, and then with an option eventually to push to residents, via email. We don't really have emails beyond, if you have a doc or, this or that. So this will be a big thing down the road because a lot of other communities push out their newsletter electronically. And so, anybody want to add anything to communication at all? All right. Number 4, we got parks and A, Lost Lake Commons. We want to finish phase 2 this year in 2025. And then, I guess technically work on phase 3 for next year. It'd be nice to just kind of get it done, and be done with it. B, Lost Lake Commons, adding to Andrew Sisters Trail. The Parks Department and Councilmember Pugh are going to work on that as well as Maggie, right? You're going to work on that in Parks?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there?
Can you see?
I didn't mean to respond that
Okay.
way. Yeah, I think it has come up. So yeah,
Okay.
we're putting our list of priorities together right
Okay.
now too. So
All right.
I'll make sure that gets on there.
Well, I know Councilmember Pugh's been talking about that for 2 years, so.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll try to get that worked on. C, wayfinding trail signs. So this is, we're going to put up signs with local businesses. Work on design idea for a sign, Three Rivers, WCC, wayfinding trail. Again, we're going to have the Parks Commission work on that as well. I know we've had some concepts through Three Rivers, and they said, well, you can only have so big of a sign. And then we said, well, look at other people, they have bigger signs, and so I think we stirred it up, but maybe we'll get them to approve a better sign and kind of wayfinding sign. If nothing else, we can put signs, kind of in our park area and saying, here, go this way, go that, So that'll give the Parks Commission something to work on. That's, again, been, I think, on the list for 2 years now, so it'd be nice to kind of check this one off this year as well. D is grant opportunities, including age-friendly city grants for this year. We just tasked Jesse to coordinate that with, if we want to, work on, I know there's one of the commissioners on Parks that's passionate about helping on that, as well as Councilmember Pugh. So Jesse's going to kind of work on seeing if we have any grant opportunities. E is an event coordinator position. What we mean by that is we're hoping it's going to be a Parks Commission member, or maybe an intern or something, that when this new park is kind of up and running, that we can have maybe, whether it's a part-time or, full-time volunteer, whatever it's going to look like. If we want to do maybe more events downtown in this new park, they can kind of take that on. So the goal is to not have this be like a paid staff person and make it expensive. But maybe someone wants to take that as a volunteer thing. So again, Parks, we'll look into that. F is just look into each park, the use, et cetera. Again, I know they kind of do that every couple years, as it is, so we're going to task them with that as well. G is parking lot resurface at Farmers Market lot. And again, I don't think this is technically in the budget for this year before this. I'm looking at Matt. So we're going to see if we can shift. Again, everything's all nice and new, brand new. It's like, if we can see if we can kind of get that, resurfaced under the farmer's market. So let's see if you guys can, if it's astronomically cost and we got to push it, whatever. But if we can somehow sneak it a year early, that'd be nice. Or whatever it was planned for. So yeah, you guys can get back to us on that, what that looks like in cost. H is Lost Lake Commons. Well, this is our, we're we're gonna discuss this in a joint, council and parks workshop. And by the way, we gotta schedule that, so I don't know what day typically works for that, but we'll probably have to do it on an off night. I guess off night for us and them. And then, I don't know if we would just wanna throw out a date and see what works for people, maybe March or April, or
Yeah, we can do
you
that.
wanna start taking a poll or something, or?
What day of the week does Parks normally meet on? Thursday?
Thursday.
Just make it like a Tuesday or a Thursday.
If it's a Tuesday off night of
Yeah.
what we usually do,
Yeah.
or, I mean, that would work, right? Maybe? Okay. You just wanna try to do a off night on Tuesday, and then maybe just email the parks and just see what works for them.
Yeah.
I guess we could do as early as not, well, people need time to plan, right?
Probably get through the next parks meeting too,
When's that?
next week.
Okay.
Actually,
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Sorry, 2
March
weeks.
10th, I think is,
2 weeks?
or March 13th.
March 3rd, okay.
So it's after next council.
Well, maybe it has to be early April then.
Early though.
We'll still have time to get stuff done, I guess, if it's early April.
Okay.
Okay, maybe you just bring it up in the meeting and see if we can get, or maybe if you wanna start planning it now.
Yeah, I'll
We'll
send
just do
out
an
an-
off city council night, Tuesday, and then start maybe getting something on paper.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them and see.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so anyway, in our workshop, are a couple ideas that we had that we want to chat with them about, as well as, you know, do we do an ice rink in the winter over this new paved parking lot? A potential playground, again, at Lost Lake Commons, art walk, what is that gonna look like? How are you guys gonna, you know, kind of come up with, you know, what that's gonna look like? Do we involve like a Tonka Toys in any way, on that as well? And then I is Mound Depot, do we, you know, put in a few bucks to kind of improve that? Doesn't have air, right? Air conditioning?
So I think this summer, staff has already gotten a couple quotes just to see what it would cost to replace. So
Okay.
that's in the works to do some updating of I believe the air conditioning, the furnace, right? And the fans.
Yeah,
So kind of we built that into the maintenance
Okay.
of that building for this year.
so we want to talk about this with parks as well anyway, but
Yeah.
just the bigger picture, if there's more uses that we could use out of the depot, this is your idea,
Yeah.
if you want to say anything on it.
Yeah, well, I don't know, I had a couple, but since you're on the last,
Yeah, and that's all I had
Okay.
for parks, so if anybody wants to make comments.
so I guess just concerning, like, maybe if we could all look at the agenda for the joint meeting beforehand and just see if there's anything that we don't want to get left out.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just be at like our next council meeting or something, or to see what would be on the agenda, but and for the depot, if I'm not alone on kind of wanting to do that, it's like not really adding money, you know, and spending more, but just maybe better organizing the structure of like the budget for the parks and see if we can move something over from something, you know, not necessarily adding.
Yeah.
But if we can get more efficient in other ways and then use money to kind of permanently modify like the CIP for that area of that park, you know, I want to make the equipment better and make it look better and just make it more appealing. It's like our most visible park. You know, I know it gets rented out a lot, but I hope it's a
Gets rented
popular.
out all the time.
Yeah, I hope it's a popular thing to make it look the best that it can, you know, it's like right when you.
Yeah.
You
So-
could definitely use a facelift, you know, it's
Yeah.
been 20 years
And
since
it's
they
not
put
big,
that.
you know, yeah, it's
Yeah.
not big, it's like everything's already there, it was just, but I guess the other part of that is, yeah, I want Parks input on like what they think it needs the most or doesn't.
Yeah, I know they have expressed interest in doing stuff with it, so I think that'll be a good conversation for that meeting to kind of talk about the vision for that space.
Okay, so before we even get to that point though, like, should we be looking at, like, quantifying it, like, what do we really wanna set aside or move for, like, money for that? I
But
don't know.
I think that, because this is a workshop, so
Yeah.
maybe we come with ideas and
Okay,
we'll spitball it in there, and then, I think from there, then let's task them with coming up with, you know, the vision, I
Okay.
guess, I don't know.
and then I just had one other question on 4E. can we utilize LMC to kind of see maybe what other cities have done for best practices for a role like that? Like, I don't know if I'm really up for adding certainly not a full-time role, but like an intern or
Yeah.
how other cities have gotten that done effectively.
Yep.
I guess that could be a workshop agenda item too.
Mhm.
That's all I got.
Okay. And I would say our workshop, you know, I would just go A through I. You know, that's probably the workshop agenda, and then add whatever you guys want to add on top of that, you know, or if parks people want to add, you know. I mean, some of this is gonna happen anyway, but, it's, you know, good to talk about it, I guess.
No, yeah, that sounds good.
Anything else on parks? All right, number 5, we got code enforcement. Rental units code enforcement, and I said planning to work on it. And again, just so we know, we just did a joint planning meeting with the council last week, and this is one of the comments that we, you know, already tasked them with, is, you know, looking into rental unit code enforcement. We've had some kind of issues with that, as well as we're kind of one of the cities that doesn't do enforcement of rentals around here, around anywhere. So, anyway, we're gonna look into that, and then Sarah is gonna bring that back to planning and come up with some, you know, guidelines, as well as, I think, with you as well. And then B, if project is approved, keep it moving forward. What that means is, you know, when we approve a project, you know, let's just say if someone wants to do a new, you know, business or new development or whatever in town, you know, is there anything that we can do to kind of keep it going? You know, specifically, I know there's, you know, some, or one for sure, that has kind of got an approval a year or two ago and has just kind of been sitting. So, again, we did talk about that in planning. We're looking into different options on what we can do there. So that's 5, code enforcement. Any other comments on that we had a lot in planning that we worked on.
Yeah, on the code enforcement, in particular, since we just had this instance happen tonight, where we approved a inspection after the fact type thing, is there, I mean, I don't think in most cities you can come in and say, oops, sorry, I forgot, you know. Is there any penalties or anything that are used by other cities for not following the proper procedures?
Well, I mean, typically, if, in this instance, where, you know, there's a problem, either it's, first of all, the project's gonna be red tagged, and you gotta stop
Yep.
working on it, and then the typical penalty is gonna be, it's the permit fees, I believe, are doubled.
They can be.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, those are some cities will do that, where it's, you know, it's, the penalty is because you gotta pay more for the permit fees. I mean, and there may be an alteration for what they have to do in order to fix it too, because they have to bring up the
Right,
code.
and changes.
So it's not atypical for a property owner to do work without getting a permit, and how the city responds, usually the penalty could be, like I said, more fee, or the fact they have to put cost into it with regards
To
to
mitigate,
fixing, you know, and I think there were some changes that they had to make to this one, too, because
Okay.
with regard to protection of the wetland.
That's fair. Okay.
All right, I don't think I wrote down everything we talked about in planning. There's a lot of stuff. I know we tasked them with other things. Do you remember any other main items?
It's on the planning commission list.
Okay, all right,
You can look it up
okay.
from our.
From our
meeting.
minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, more to come on all that. Again, the goal is if you know, staff and Sarah will make recommendations to planning, and then it'll come back to us anyway.
Right.
Number 6, Mound Citizen of the Year 2025. So we started this last year as a first year, you know, kind of award. And so we want to do it again this year, per what we talked about. So A, again, the only subject on this, but announce in May newsletter. So our next newsletter, we gotta remember, 'cause that's our next one, right, May, when it goes out?
Yeah, it goes out in April. Wait,
April, or maybe I meant February.
sorry,
It's May.
'cause it's like
It's May.
filtered. Okay, yeah, you're
Well,
right.
you send it like late April, early May,
Yeah.
whatever. So
Yeah.
most people get it late April, May. So our next newsletter.
I'll make a note just to remember that.
And then do you want to work on, I can't remember what graphic we did last year, but maybe we can do some kind of nice, submit your, thing for,
I've already talked to Maggie. We'll use the same verbiage.
Okay.
We'll make it pretty.
cool, okay. So we'll do that, and then maybe a nice, half page or quarter page or something like that. And then our goal is the submissions, we'll hopefully get by the end of September, and then announce the winner, like November, December again, like we did last year. Any comments on that? All right, number 7, tree lighting ceremony. If you were downtown last year, you saw, what number ceremony was it? 40 or something? It was a lot. Anyway, it was like how many annual tree lighting ceremony?
I was there. I
It was
don't
a big
remember
number.
them calling out.
Can't
yeah.
remember what it was, but, the WCC obviously, puts that on, in coordination with our, staff and, the fire, police, and Santa Claus shows up and all that stuff. So we're gonna do that again this year. A is a walk-through light display. We did that last year. I think that was phenomenal. Loved it. Good job to everybody that helped. Again, I'm just like, let's just go bigger, better. So B is bigger, better lights, more room. We're gonna have more room with the new park, so, hopefully that concrete area will be, done by then, with maybe a fire pit, maybe not. So we'll have more room to spread out, not just on the narrow, it wasn't very narrow, it was pretty thick,
Yeah,
but.
it was nice.
And then we brought in those, fire pit things, which was, I think, a pretty cool thing. And then if we have actual fire pit, we can use that as well. And then, this is what I was thinking, and I'm not an event planner, but, having Santa maybe towards like the end, down by the, the water.
Gazebo area,
Yeah, so like you have to like go down, you have to go
That
through the
would be
maze,
nice.
right? And then you go down, see Santa down there, and they could kind of like line up down there.
So the fire truck could go down that path already, 'cause that's what
Yeah,
the
they could be
path
down
is
by
for.
Artesa even,
Yeah.
and then we could put them down there. So people they have to kind of walk down there and walk back.
Yeah.
I think people did it anyway, but there wasn't really anything
There
to
wasn't
bring them there.
that, yeah.
I know there was like there's tree lights and stuff along the way, but anyway, that's just my thought is like if we put Santa down there, so now they got the tree lighting way over here, you have to kind of walk through this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe hot chocolate stands on the way and,
That'd be neat.
I think that'd be kind of cool, so. That's my vision. Anyway, so if we want to do that, that'd be cool. And then C is just get the word out better, not that we didn't, but, let's just get the word out to social and newsletter. I know WCC, there was a change of, presidents this fall, so I think some of the announcements were maybe a little delayed, but goal is to kind of get that out, September, hey, November's coming, and, it's kind of the kickoff of the season. I mean, everybody else does it after we do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool
It
that
is
we're
neat.
kind of the first, so. Any other comments on number 7? All right, number 8, and this should probably be up higher, but customer service to residents, customer service is always a top priority. So, whether it's us or staff, I mean, the residents are the ones, paying for the city. Any comments on that? Number 9, development. Mound is open for business. Just like we just had Tim Nichols show up, Artesa development. As you can see, if you're a developer listening to this, we're open for business. We want more development. Obviously, what we want here, but let's talk.
Did you know the vacuum store just sold?
Yes, yeah.
Can't wait to see what goes in there.
Yeah. I've heard rumors, but we'll see. And, yeah, I know there's other spots in town that I know, I've talked to some people and I know, just kind of, people are interested.
Yeah.
I mean, I think what we've done with Artesa, this new park, as well as the flats, is we're sending a signal that, we're open, we're open for opportunities, and I know that there's, I know at least, a handful of, developers or people that are interested that own these lots that want to, do things, so. B, Jesse and Sarah reach out to properties. So again, Langdon, I know there was a, development that was, that was trying to be a development a couple years ago, but, my thought is just like, let's just reach out to the owners of that and see, we're a new council now, and maybe we want to, look at other opportunities. We, put in a comprehensive update to our plan that says exactly what we want in Mound. So as long as they figure, follow that, we should be good. But PDQ, what I mean by that is the lot across from the State Farm, right as you're going to 3 Points. Right before we did the comp plan amendment, remember that he came out,
Yep.
and he wanted to do like was a little townhome.
He wanted to do like what we kind of made the amendment for.
Right.
Like the right size for
Yeah.
that spot.
Did he ever come back?
Well,
I think whoever was gonna buy it or start the project didn't, and he was just the owner of the property.
Yeah.
so did you reach out to him, or Sarah did, and you can't get a hold of him? Yeah. So if you're listening to this, we want to talk. U-Haul, we've, talked about that, Dwayne service station. We already approved that, 2 years ago, but it'd be nice to see some action there. And then, of course, downtown, if there's any other opportunities there that anybody wants to do, let's talk. The goal is just, can we be a little bit more proactive? I guess kind of the past, in the past was just kind of like, let's just let people come to us. Again, I've talked to at least 4 or 5 developers that are interested in doing things, and we got rid of our development committee per se, but people still want to talk. Are you guys open? Well, we're definitely open as long as it's something that we all like. So come and talk to us. C, shop local campaign. This is just a campaign that we did. Was it 2 years ago?
Well, it's ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah.
We have signs in the store, we have car decals up at City Hall,
Yeah.
if anybody would like them. And just stopping into businesses and chat with them,
Yeah.
And make sure we're doing all we can do to encourage, good commerce, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just at City Hall today and I saw those stickers, and that's a nice little setup that we have.
Just dug it out of my office
Looks good.
covers, let's see what'll work.
Yeah. And then the goal is we kind of put that in every newsletter as well. I think this last one was, the last page, shop local Mound. So again, I think that's just a good thing to always have in there, kind of remind people. And then D is the Mound Economic Development Committee. I will say there's been a couple residents that have reached out, or let's say property owners in Mound too, that are interested in this as well. I know Councilmember Pugh mentioned that too, and I said, hey, if you want to do this, let's go ahead and coordinate it, and let's lead it, right? I'll be honest, I don't have enough time for that. I'm doing all these other things. So if one of the 4 of you guys want to step up and do that, feel free. Love to. I think it's a great idea. What I said to one of the residents that was looking into this too is that I don't want to just do this and just meet to meet.
Yeah.
Like if we're going to do a development committee, like let's actually make some progress and like have an agenda of like how we're going to actually make this time useful. So like if we have some property owners in Mound, or business owners, or just residents that care about doing economic development in Mound, I think it should be led by one of us, and then So whoever's passionate about that. And if not, then we don't have to do it. Again, we're doing a lot of this, I'm doing a lot of this behind the scenes, just people wanting to talk.
Yeah, I
but-
mean, I'd be interested in discussing it, but I'd want to know a little bit more about what the game plan, long-term strategy type things we're going to
You'd
come out of
probably
it.
be part of that solution. Come
Right.
up with what
Yeah, I
to
mean, do you want to
discuss.
brainstorm ideas of, and then just bring it back to, then we can talk about it at the end of the meeting sometime?
Right, I'm not into just meeting for the.
I
purpose of-
totally agree,
Yeah.
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So like if we came up with 5 people, or, say it's you and 4 other, maybe a business owner or 2 and a couple residents that are just passionate about economic development.
Okay.
Great, but then what does that look like? And maybe we can look into what other cities do when they do have it. We used to have this as a commission, how many years ago, and we just have canceled, we just don't do it.
Right.
And I know previous people in the past have tried to, hey, should we bring it back? Should we bring it back? We just never have. So
Okay.
if this is something, if you want to brainstorm ideas and if you want to lead that, that'd be great.
Okay.
And if there's nothing there and that's fine. We can always still, we're all promoting Mound anyway,
Right.
but if there's something that we could be doing
Okay.
outside of that.
Certainly.
All right, anything else on development?
I would think that LMC would be a good resource there for us too,
Yeah.
since we're paying our membership.
Do you,
Sure, we're not the
Jesse?
first ones to do that,
Right. Yeah, do you want to look into what other cities do or what a development committee looks like for other cities? And then get it, well, maybe to Herrick. Okay. 10, adopt a drain program. This was kind of brought up, I think, last year. And the funny thing is, this is actually a program already. It's a state program, so what we did is we just highlighted it. It's the adoptdrain.org. You can look at it on our agenda, or Google that. If you click on it, it's actually pretty cool. You can go out there and you can look at, like I have a drain right in front of my house. I could just adopt that and clean it up, and they give you kind of guidelines of what you should do or not do. But there is a handful that are already adopted in our town, and so just kind of, remember everything that goes in there goes into our lakes, and so let's keep it clean. But anyway, if anybody wants to do that, that would be good. Just go out there on the website. So I'm kind of counting that as already done. Beyond, we just put in the newsletter. So I know it's end of February, but technically this is already kind of crossed off, like we already have a program.
Well, yeah, but do we have any traction, or how do we know how many have been adopted? Is there some sort of way for us to monitor that? I didn't look, I looked at the website briefly, but
You can kind of click on the link and you can see all the different ones, but I don't know if
I
there's
didn't know if there
somewhere
was
to get
anything
it
that was sent
data.
back to the.
There was like
Requested.
There's a lot available, as you said.
Yeah, there's a lot available.
So for the new website, I do have, like, within the utilities, I kind
able
of
to
set up
see.
a little something
says
for
who
this.
adopted it.
So I think there's an annual report that you
Okay.
can click on for the city, and it shows you how many are currently adopted and how much projected, like, I'm gonna say rubbish, debris has been cleaned up for the year. So I think there's an annual report that you can click on there. So we can kind of see maybe beginning of last year, and then maybe some of the promotion stuff, we can
Right.
see if it's helped by the end of the year. But it was in the last newsletter, and then it'll be on the new website too, so.
Yeah.
Can we just add it to be in our newsletter every April too, or like?
Yeah, yeah.
Then it's kind of like ongoing and we can check it off our list.
Right, because if we don't get volunteers, does the city have to do that then?
No, I mean,
It
we
just
do
stops
this.
being
Public
done.
Works does
We
it?
do the sweeping anyway.
Yeah.
This is just,
It's just a fun.
it's just a more above and
To be
beyond.
accountable.
Yeah.
Kind of to your neighborhood
Right.
Okay.
deal.
Yeah.
I
If
think it
someone
helps
adopts a drain and
educate
doesn't do
people
it, I
too.
think it just,
Nothing
Doesn't
happens.
it's
yeah.
orphaned,
It's orphaned.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, the city, it's, you go out and make sure the leaves are
Yeah.
cleared. and
Right.
The city, Public Works already does that, but, it can sit there for a long time before the street sweeper comes
Yeah.
around.
I would like to request that the city takes care of the one on West Edge. Just, I already had a conversation about that. It's not lending itself well to safety.
All right, so B, we said introduce a newsletter, we've already done that. But yeah, maybe every February or
Yeah,
May
just
or
make a
whatever,
template.
we should just put an annual note in there. Or we could even do it twice a year or whatever. Any other comments on that? All right, number 11, we got Spirit of the Lakes. The council decided that we should do a tent at the event again for 2025. We're gonna try to split the time, so we, can kind of enjoy the time as well as, be there to represent the city. Councilmember McEnany always does a nice board or two or three, with graphics and stuff, and they've been very, very popular of, people go, oh, I didn't know that we had so many, this and that, and, our water infrastructure, and some of the charts have been pretty cool. So we'll hopefully do something like that again.
Do we still have the ones from last year somewhere?
Yeah,
And,
we have the last two, we still have.
Yeah, people love those.
and probably maybe phase 2 and 3 of the park, maybe we should, because we already got one done, but like, we should show the park thing again. That was kind of popular too. Depending on what happens with these closing of the roads, we should, if it's after, we should say, hey, by the way, take a flyer, it's gonna be closed in next week or whatever. If not, they already know about it.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
For B, like, when did we meet with them last year, like regarding the just general festival prep?
So Ryan and staff always meets with them, Public Works. So what I mean by work with the Spirit of the Lakes Board is, does anybody, either on the council or, is there anything that we can do as, council or staff, just outside of just, hey, they need police support, they need fire, they need, actually, I just saw Jess Hill today, the president of the Spirit Lakes, and, they're definitely open to like more, like a board member. And I said, well, do you want us to like appoint someone? And they're like, well, no, because I don't want just someone that just is gonna show up. Like, I want someone that actually wants to like come and be part of, the committee and stuff, so. So she's definitely open to anybody that wants to help. So if someone does want to help, then please reach out, or reach out to us and we will connect with her, but, yeah, I guess that's kind of what I was thinking is like, is there anything that we can help more beyond, they're funding all of it beyond the in-kind contributions of the staff and, that kind of thing, but, and then C is, have a Parks Commission member join the board. So again, if they're passionate and they actually want to do it, I know that they're open to that. And I think we have one Parks member in our audience. You don't have to do it, we're not pressuring you, but.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, anyway, and we should talk about that at Parks too, if you want to add that to the agenda.
Okay.
I know this is in a different spot in case we forget. And again, even if you're not on the board, I think having Parks members involved in the process, or, just involved in the Spirit of Lakes in general, I think would be a good, overarching task anyway. And part of, I know if Councilmember Pugh was here, she would say, with the, Spirit of Lakes as a whole, if it's, say, more popular this year, do we want to move some of it downtown? Now, might not be a good year with all the, constructions of the park, but maybe the following year, so.
We could combine some of the dog events
Yeah.
into, just an idea.
Like dog days or?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it was having a hard time, struggling to get traction, so maybe we could get them to work with the
when this
Spirit
new
of Lakes.
potential parks
Right.
person to, do events,
Mhm.
maybe we can coordinate better with, that was a popular,
It
was
was.
it canceled last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
I don't think they've had it
I
for the
thought-
last 2 years.
No, they had it 2 years though.
Was it 2 years
Yeah.
ago? Okay.
But the dogs jumping into the harbor was, I think, the best spot.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
was perfect for.
Dakota did it.
Yeah, I remember.
It's fun,
I
it's
have
fun,
pictures.
it's a fun event.
Well, and with that open park there now, as long as they keep up, clean up their
Mm,
stuff. But
Definitely.
anyway, yeah, I think,
And we'll have a new police dog, so that might be kind of fun.
That
there
would
you
be
go.
fun.
And maybe that's something that parks can help,
Well, what's up?
whoever was the board that did that, who was running that?
Oh, I know
Is it
the lady. I'll have to get her contact information, but I can
Okay.
get that for you.
Anyway, again, we want more events, right? So there, here we go. That could be one. Anything else on 11 Spirit Lakes? 12 Orono Police Department. Again, I think we're committed to Orono. And then B, social worker, invite to council for updates. So again, we've already crossed that off. She comes, I think, once a year anyway, so this was kind of that. So the goal is, I know Jesse did this last year, but just, highlight green. And then maybe in a couple meetings from now, we'll just kind of see, okay, how are we progressing, along on these. Anybody comments on that? 13, fire, A, joint powers agreement, and then B, keep working through the details. So this is like a monumental task. We're meeting every other week? Every month for sure.
And then there's regular fire committee meetings.
Right.
Seemingly in between those.
So there's meetings, there's fire meetings every month, there's commission meetings every quarter, and then there's, if you're part of the budget process, there's random meetings, and then if you're part of the contract process, there's random meetings, and I'm in all of them. And then Councilmember Pugh is in the contract part, I'm on the budget side. Well, I'm on both, but she's on the contract as well. So, again, we're trying to iron those out, and then is the goal kind of mid-year to bring that back and have an agreement?
I think so.
Okay.
That would be ideal.
Okay, so if we can all agree on a way forward on that, and then, of course, our attorney's gonna look at it and chew through it, but the goal is to bring it back kind of mid-year and vote on that if that's what we wanna do. Any questions on that? Comments? And then number 14, promote Mound and its history. Again, maybe this should have been more in the communication part. But, again, I think a lot of people know, live here, but that don't know kind of the background of Mound or, so just in general, we want to promote Mound and its history. Any questions or comments on that? Number 15, invite Mound, see what I did there, Mound West Tonka High School, to present at meetings, spring and fall. Do you have the contact?
Yeah.
Reach out to me via email and I can send it to you if you don't, but let's invite someone this spring. We were doing it, monthly, I think, before, and I think that got a little much.
Yeah,
So we're
because
gonna-
nothing really changes.
Yeah.
Except for quarterly, with sports and.
Yeah, it's
different-
great to hear, but.
Yes, it is.
It was
a nice
a little
update, but I
repetitive.
think fewer is
Yeah,
a little more meaningful.
yeah. So, again, we want to,
Redundant.
Is it DECA or is it the student
No, it's
council?
the student council comes in and gives us an update.
What about the middle school? Did they do anything like that? Or the kids in the
well,
districts?
I don't,
I
well,
don't know
so
if they have
my daughter's giving a speech this week, and I don't think they're much speaking type people.
They're learning.
7th grade, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's usually juniors and seniors, I think, that come, and they're, I don't know if you've
They're
watched them.
they're on their
Yeah,
school board, or,
yeah.
not school board,
Council.
but the student council.
They still call it
yes.
that, right?
Their student council president
Yeah.
comes.
So if you want to, if you don't have the contact, I know it changed
I
people,
think
but
I have it.
okay, so if you want to invite them, I say spring, but anytime in the next, whatever. Number 16, Centennial Building, that's the building we're sitting in. Look into feasibility of the building and other opportunities. This was kind of, me and then Councilmember Larson were kind of passionate about this. We own this building, free and clear. We rent it to a couple kind of government organizations. We basically break even more or less. The thought is, again, could we repurpose this? Could we take, if it's worth anything, could we take the money and buy some water? Could we, pay off other things or, use something different? Could we meet over there? So again, this was workshopped, I think a couple times last year. We're, again, kind of just gonna have to either workshop that more, or, you know, staff's gonna have to make some recommendations on what we think, you know, could be done. So, now that we have a new council member, we want your opinion too.
Have we completed the evaluation or inspection of the building? Has that been done?
That will come back to council, because I'm working with Bolden Inc. on that, so
Okay.
that's,
So it's in the
I'll bring
works.
back to a regular meeting to sort of kick that off. I actually expecting that shortly.
Okay.
Okay.
We did get like a preliminary thing, whatever the right term for that is, but we just all decided that we wanted more info before even thinking about it, right? 'Cause
Right.
that's
Yeah.
where it left.
That's fair.
We got a very
Scott,
high-level
you kind of
appraisal,
got
appraisal on paper, not a true appraisal, but what do you call it?
It's a
Comp.
market analysis.
Market analysis.
Yeah, there was a commercial broker that we brought in, not brought in, but a commercial broker that I got a market analysis from, and then provided us with a process that they would go through if they were going to market
Inspection, okay.
the,
But that-
the building.
And then that workshop led us to asking for more info. And I
Yeah.
think we're, yeah.
And again, the thought on that is, again, yeah, we use this for our meetings and stuff, but we have upstairs at our other paid-off property that we could convert. Now, we might have to spend a few bucks out of this, you know, what we get out of this, proceeds of this place, but the other thing too is, I mean, would a developer wipe this and put up row townhomes, or would they do,
Right.
would it be a commercial thing? Would someone just take the shell and repurpose it to something, or would they just want to buy it and lease it out to who's already here? Or, I don't know, but could we?
Is it
it's-
marketable? We need to
yeah,
find that out first.
Yeah,
you know.
and so, this is just kind of something that we're looking into, or want to look into, I guess, so.
Right. Okay.
So keep that on the list. Number 17, changing the mayor term to a 4-year versus a 2-year. This was not my doing, just so you know. You mentioned it. So why don't you take it so that I don't look like I'm trying to change everything?
Just to be more typical to what a lot of our neighboring cities do and making it in line with council terms, a 4-year mayoral term is pretty common, and I think we were all in agreement. I'm not going to speak for anybody if I'm wrong, but
I was open to looking into it.
yeah, like how it would get done or not, but my speculation was that getting a more committed, I don't mean this, but like a committed candidate or someone that, you know, wants to be around for 4 years as well. And I don't know of any other cities that are doing 2, which isn't the reason that I think we should change it, but just seemed like a more appealing process.
So I did look into this.
Okay,
Okay.
what do you got?
It's by ordinance of majority of the council.
3 out of 5 vote, that's it?
Mhm.
Wow.
So you
Yeah.
didn't look like other cities, you just mean like the process of?
No, I looked at the statute. It's pretty, there's 2 statutes that are involved. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And it's a ordinance by the council, and it wouldn't take effect until the following term.
Right. So if you're listening to this, again, this doesn't affect me now. If I'm out next term. If I don't run, or if I do run, it would be applied to the next mayor term. And then
Yeah.
it'd be 4 if we decide.
Or whatever subsequent term you want to have it, but it won't be for the existing mayoral
No,
term.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we kind of, why don't you bring that back as an item to talk about, as an agenda item, so we can discuss it more, and then, I don't know what you guys think about, but let's just discuss it more at a future deal.
Yeah, I guess I should go, since you deferred to me a little bit too, I should further explain kind of like Councilmember McEnany. I was like, it's not something I feel strongly about, but I'm interested in learning the pros and cons list of that.
Can you
I
come
mean,
up with?
there's advantages to both.
Right.
You know, on the off year, you have the mayor that
That's
is
what I'm
not
wondering.
doing great things, and we've had a few of those. So, you know, it's gotta weigh the pros and cons.
Yeah, I'm not
I'm not
confident
there
that I know
yet,
what they
but
are.
I'll do a little thinking, and we should definitely talk about it.
Yeah, that's a workshop thing.
You're not the one I'm talking about.
No, I know.
That we've had some in the past.
All right. So do you want to workshop that, or do you want to bring it to the council?
We should workshop it so that we are prepared. for
Workshop
the
it before we bring
meeting.
it to
Yeah.
council?
Right.
You want to do
So
that?
that we have, yeah.
So let's combine that with whatever workshop we're going to do next.
Knowing that it's not
It's not a.
urgent or
No, we
really
got a couple years.
involved. I mean, it's not a top priority by any means, so it just sounds like something that we just need to plan to workshop at some point in the year, really. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. We don't
Good.
have any workshop on the agenda, but whenever we have a new one, we can add that or whatever. Any other comments on that? Number 18, city council to perform interviews for candidates to various boards and commissions. So what our city does currently, and I think for a long time, forever, is that we have our commissions, so like Parks Commission or Planning Commission or Docs Commission, they interview their applicants, and then they make the decision, then they give the recommendations to council, and then we officially vote on it and approve or deny it. And that's fine. What we're looking at is changing that, and this actually goes with probably a majority of other cities that actually council interviews the candidates instead of the actual appointed commission. So I know this was your kind of idea. Do you want to expound on that, or is that good enough?
Well, we've had a couple of issues this year, which is unheard of, where we've only had, maybe one candidate that's interested in fulfilling a commission position. And this kind of goes along with, we think that we should have 2 candidates per opening, so we get the best qualified candidate for which commission. And, we don't really get a chance to vet the candidates. It's a lot different reading an interview than it is listening to the people, and you can kind of read the passion in their face, and we can get a little bit of information out of them. So, again, we discussed it, and both Jesse and I think Mr. Lansman said it is a little more common for the city council to generally do that. So we just would like to take that back in-house, and mostly, I think, just for vetting the candidates, rather than getting a piece of paper. The other commissions recommend to us, but we still have to kind of read through their interview, but we don't get the opportunity to visit with them. So I think that'll be helpful. And, also when we're talking to them, we may say, gee, you would be fantastic for parks, depending on their area of expertise. So I think it'll just be a nice collaboration for all of us to have in person. to
Would
do
you
that.
envision that being a joint meeting, or would it be?
No, I think we would
No,
just do it.
Just, they would, instead of coming to the planning or
They'd
parks,
come to
they would
council.
come here just like,
Okay,
and then we would listen to their interviews, and then we would do the voting.
okay.
I
And
think-
park, I know in parks, they did have a little bit of push and shove with it a little bit, but I think they, in the end, felt comfortable with it.
Planning.
Or,
Yeah.
pardon me, planning
Yeah.
commission, yes.
Yeah, I think they understood where we
Yeah.
come from. I mean, we're not trying to offend, like, they don't make good recommendations or
No,
anything.
no.
But, again, this does kind of go more with, remember, we're kind of elected people, and,
It's our
they're an
responsibility.
appointing board, or commission, but,
It will speed up the process too, because
Yeah.
when planning gets it, then we have to wait another 2 weeks to a month to get that. So it'll just be a little more expedite things, I
Yeah.
think, for us.
And then on that kind of subject, we did talk about when when current board members, their term is up, that we would prefer or like them to almost kind of reapply.
Yeah.
Not that, again, nothing against anybody that's doing it, and we just had a celebration event last night to celebrate all of our members, but, let's just say we get, one candidate and that's them, and they want to, be reappointed, then I think we kind of decided that that was fine, and we would just go with that person. But if it's, 3 or 4 or 5 or 10, we've had sometimes where we have, you know,
Oh, for sure.
a handful of
We've had a
candidates.
lot.
I know in the way past, they'd had to vet them out, because there's so many, it's like you can't interview 25 people, you know, maybe not 25.
2 hours of interviews.
Right. So, again, not that our people aren't the best people, but, you know, maybe there's, you know, some turnover is not a bad thing sometimes too, and maybe some new, you know, opinions, new diversity of thought coming in too.
And we can promote it at Spirit of the Lakes too, when we're talking to people.
Right, yep.
Probably
So,
good timing.
I don't know if you want to add, maybe add that to the end of that, but, and then, again, I think we're all kind of in agreement anyway, so I would just say, when you guys are ready on the recommendations, just bring that as a item.
I have a question too.
Yeah.
Do we already routinely mention, I don't know if like recruiting's the right word, but do we routinely like have in our newsletters too that we're looking for candidates? Like whenever it's docks or parks or planning, like do we always have, is that part of the newsletter?
Well,
Like
didn't
every
we,
fall?
didn't we kind of decide in our joint planning meeting that we would be announcing that, you know, ask the
Proactive.
candidates to let us know by the beginning of the summer?
Right.
So
Oh,
people,
yeah.
so we can promote it a little bit more.
Yep.
I think that'll be really helpful.
That's
And then
right.
it can be in a couple newsletters and
Okay, I forgot about that.
on the website. So I think that'll be really helpful.
Yeah, and that could be something that's on the website all the time, that
It
just
will
says,
be,
would you like
yeah.
to volunteer and help the city?
Yeah, send
Reach
your
out.
resume and we'll let you know when there's
Reach
an
out, yeah.
opening. Yeah.
Oh,
Can you
no.
put,
That could work.
can you put 18A, 18A as, what was the first thing that we just talked about?
Spirit of the Lakes?
No,
18A would
No,
be.
18A would be about the city council taking over the.
City council,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. The city council taking
resp-
over the,
Or city council interviewing or appointing.
Yeah.
And then B was what candidates would be part of, it wouldn't be an automatic.
yes.
Oh, reapplying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like that idea. And it sounds like when you brought it up, when you were on the planning commission, or was it,
Yeah, I was on the planning, yeah.
I mean, at least Ms. Wacker thought it was a great idea. So there were a couple people on
Yeah, They
the
all agreed.
commission that, why shouldn't they have to work a little bit for it?
Yeah,
You know, they're a
nobody
lot
said,
of work and.
nobody said no.
Nobody said
Yeah,
so.
no
that
one
was a good
disagreed.
thing.
Yeah,
No one
Yeah.
disagreed.
Dissension.
So, yeah, do A and B, or you can retitle that and then update that. So that's it, unless, anybody ever, if you had any other things that weren't on this that you want to talk about? We can always add things down the road, obviously, and things are going to come up that we want to look at or whatever, but. All right, well, that closes that out. Thanks for being patient on that. So we know kind of our goals for this year. Number 12, we got council member reports. Councilmember Pugh's out tonight. Councilmember McEnany.
well, I guess since I'm first, I'm going to thank Jesse and Maggie, if you were part of it, and your participation in our appreciation for the outgoing commissioners last night. We do that every couple of years, and I think everybody felt that people really appreciated it, and we got good feedback from it. So that was a lot of fun to get together with all the outgoing commissioners and people that are current, which we don't always meet on the
Right.
other committees. So it's always a nice evening, and that was last night. And thank you for pulling together, and the history trivia was really fun. That was fun. And that's really all I've got.
All right. Councilmember Castellano.
I guess I'd like to say thank you too to Councilmember McEnany and everyone that planned the whole.
Oh, I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, you did too.
No, I didn't.
You were busy the whole time.
You're doing all the
Well, I'm just-
photography, you brought the signs.
Well,
Come
I
on.
had nothing to do with the party. I just do my thing, you know, which nobody would probably miss if I didn't do it. The party and
Everybody.
food is
Thank
the most
everybody.
important.
But I
thank
don't
you.
have, I don't have anything.
Okay. Councilmember Herrick.
Let's see, on Friday and Saturday, I went to the LMC training.
Oh, nice.
It was very beneficial. It was nice to meet some counterparts throughout the state, discuss what they're doing. By the way, eggs are becoming very popular again. So there was a lot of discussion around different things that were occurring in some of these little towns. So anyway, yeah, that was probably the best part of it, you know, just the socializing and meeting other candidates that were newly elected. Of course, they went over, you know, some of the stuff we've already discussed, but yeah, I think it was beneficial. It was, the meeting that, or the event we had last night was really nice. Y'all did a great job. It was really nice to meet some of the different commission people that I hadn't met. And I think, let's see, we went to the police event, but I guess you want to talk about that?
Yeah,
Let
you
talk.
tell it.
That was a nice event, just to really kind of get to know a little bit more about what the police are doing to support the community. So that was fun, and I'm trying to think, that's really pretty much all I've done in the last couple weeks.
All right. Okay, and then it's me. So, I already talked about those two. Okay, so I met with Mayor Chase, Mark Chase, Spring Park, the new mayor, this morning. And, yeah, went by pretty fast, that hour. So, remember we share, police and fire with them. But yeah, he's just real interested in kind of getting to know what we're doing a little bit more, as well as if there's any other partnering opportunities. Remember, they got that hotel coming in. That should be done this spring.
It's looking great, too. It's going to be
Yep.
pretty fun.
And then I know there's some other development opportunities that are kind of potentially coming. Some stuff on Facebook that if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, so in his town. But yeah, just, seeing if there's any opportunities to, team up to, save money or, again, I don't know what exactly it'll look like, but I actually was kind of going, through some of our priorities. It was public on Thursday, so, I said, hey, here's a couple things. I think we got through like number 4. It was,
Wow.
so, the hour went pretty fast, so.
Were you collaborating on ideas and things? or
Yeah,
just
and I got-
meeting him for the first time mostly?
I mean, he was on our fire commission, so I knew him, but he did, and now he just took over. So there's a temporary mayor before, and Jeff, I knew him too, and he's a great guy. He's still on the fire commission as an appointed person for Spring Park, although he's not on council anymore. So Mark is kind of the new mayor. They had a mayor for how many years? I mean, a lot of years. So,
20?
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, nothing specific, but just, chatting and, they're our immediate neighbor and we want to be good neighbors with them. And, yeah, so I don't know, maybe more to come, maybe not, but we just chatted about a few things and just, what do you guys do? What do we do?
That's great.
Yeah, nothing specific, I guess, but, so, we're going to definitely meet again and see if there's anything else that we can talk about. So I'll mention that drug task force meeting. So we went to a restaurant, and it's an annual thing that the police put on. And it's, I didn't write down all the,
Handguns,
handguns
yeah.
that they took, or heroin, or, drugs. And
It was really
the couple
interesting.
things that stood out, though, was that there's a couple drug cartels from Mexico, I guess, that kind of have a presence in the Hennepin County area. Now, this isn't Mound specifically, but, remember, Orono Police. And it's not even just Orono, because the drug task, they have other units that go around with them. But their point was, it's not just downtown Minneapolis, or it's not just, kind of in the loop per se, but there's, they're finding, drugs and guns and heroin, I mean, all these different things. And, the big point is to, get an update from them once a year, but as well as, something that us as council people that we support, because, one of the police officers out of, was there 40, 20?
The amount that Orno has?
Yeah. How many is there? Anyway.
It's like 30-something.
30 something, okay. Out of all their.
For who?
Orno,
Oh, I think we have 27 with 2 part-time.
27, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out of all those, I mean, one is usually appointed to,
Dedicated to this,
to
yeah.
do this dedicated work, so we don't have to do that. Now, again, we'll talk more about it on the actual police commission as well, but I just want to say thank you for us
Yeah.
that we're supporting this, because, it keeps it out of our schools, it keeps it out of our neighborhoods, it keeps it, let's just keep all this crap out of here. So, anyway, that was good. Jesse was there as well. So, I don't know if you have anything to add that I missed, but,
Nope, it was a good event.
yeah.
Glad to have been there.
And then, kind of probably one last thing. We sent out, well, first of all, we put this in the newsletter. We're doing this new invoice cloud, so page 2. And this is for kind of our new billing structure on how we do utility billing for, like our water bill and stuff. And I think we sent out, Maggie, 900 letters. So there's, that many people out of, all of our people in Mound that do an automatic just pull from their bank. And with this new program, and this was approved, in the fall or whatever last year, we kind of upgraded our system so we can do, first of all, you can see your statement online, and you can check your usage and kind of stay on top of things. The only downside with those, it's 900, right? Did I write that down right?
Yeah, it was about 900 that were on ACH auto pay.
ACH auto pay. So if you're on ACH auto pay, your quarterly bill, there's a new $1.95 charge. So quarterly, right, times 4, not the end of the world, but just, so people got those letters, but it's a $2, $1.95 charge. Now, if you don't want that, on the letter, it does specifically say, call this number or email that you don't want it. And you can, come up with a different way to, pay your bill.
And you can still do checks
Yep.
and drop into City Hall? Are those the other?
Yep, checks, cash, and then, we don't have to go into too much detail, but there's another bank pay option where you can set up a direct pay with your bank.
Yep.
So there's some other options too, yep.
Thank
So
you.
that's what I do personally, is I just do a direct bank bill pay, right?
Right.
And then they just shoot it over. So I just do an amount every month. I kind of do a little less than a third, and then I do the reconcile the difference, because then they send a bill for like $40 or 50, and then I just pay the amount. I did that just so I can systemize, the monthly payment.
Your
So it's-
budget?
Yeah, so to budget versus paying $350,
Yeah.
$400, a quarter.
Yeah.
I do it, $115 a month or whatever. So, so you can do that, and again, from what we understand, that's a way that you can get around this charge still, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
So, there's options that
Sure,
people,
okay.
otherwise, just remember, how many other places charge
Everybody.
$1 or $2 for,
Well, there is an
Doing
ACH
things.
fee.
yeah.
Oh.
I think I went
And the
to a
wires are
restaurant
Yeah.
around here that charged me just for using my debit card.
Yep.
And it was like $4 or something,
It's cheaper for them to use the debit than it is the credit.
Yeah, they didn't
They're all
tell me
paying
either.
about 3%, so
Right.
it's stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know we've had a couple of calls, and, it's not a lot, but, it's a small handful, but that's, that is a thing. Again, if you don't want it, that's fine. Come up with a different way to pay. And you got the letter already. So, if you didn't get the letter, it doesn't affect you. Because you're not doing the auto thing anyway, so. And again, we did put that in the newsletter, and we did send a letter to those people that it affects. And then, can you just tell, how are the rest of us, is it just kind of a seamless transaction, or do we gotta reset up who we're sending our bill pay to, or?
Okay, I gotta think this through quickly. Yeah, so there has been a little bit of a delay. We're hoping early March it'll go live. We're just running through the testing right now. But yeah, really what it'll be, if you want to be able to see your statements, sign up for email billing or for text billing, all the features, you would go online and you can, through Invoice Cloud, and you can create an account and set up those features that you want. Otherwise, I think so you can opt into a paper bill, email bill, text bill, So those are, otherwise you'll still get a paper bill unless you opt into the other option. But then, yes, like the added features will be that people will be able to see their statements, eventually 24 months worth of usage.
They will be.
Yes. Yep. And then expanded ways to pay, so credit, debit, Apple Pay, Google Pay, ACH is still an option. And so it's really trying to provide more services that we haven't been able to provide in the past.
Yeah.
But if you don't go into the online platform, it'll still be a paper bill
Okay.
that you will receive.
So
Yep.
really, I mean, for someone like me that does the bill pay, I should probably cancel my bill pay, the thing that I'm doing monthly, right? Because otherwise I'm gonna be paying the other place.
I mean, you
Bill
can still do bill pay. You would just.
You wanna update to the new
If you
people.
wanna have access to your account, like still have all that information, you can still create an account to get that information. And you can still see what payments are being paid through direct pay.
So, but I'm just saying, are we paying the same group that we paid before? Is it still just like City Mound, or is it?
It's still through Opus, so we still do Opus as our, utility billing vendor.
Yeah.
So, they're just working together now.
Okay, so the address and everything, so
address.
really mine
Everything will
is,
stay the same.
it's just
Yep.
so it's a seamless, so for someone like me, don't do anything if you don't wanna do anything.
Yeah, don't change anything.
Okay, all right, good. And there's gotta be other people like me that do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That do a bill pay, so,
Yeah.
okay. Well, good, thank you for all your work on that. and-
Yeah, thank you. That'll be such a nice feature.
It'll be nice,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, number 13, we got, any reports from city manager?
No, I think I'm okay.
Think we've covered everything?
I think we've covered it.
We can
All
make
right.
a motion.
Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? You say aye?
Thank you for joining
Okay.
us again,
All right.
Helen.
All right, we're adjourned.
Bye-bye.